Hey everybody, OGG, Overt Go Green. How's it going? I'm good. I hope you are too. I have got a deck for you guys today, but before we get to the deck, 3 questions. 1, do you like ramping? 2, do you like playing bulk mythics? And 3, do you like planeswalkers? If you answered yes to all those questions, man oh man, this deck is for you. I call it Kasmina's Friends. This deck right here, let's just go over things. I'll start with the ramp package, right? We got 4 Gilded Goose, 4 Wolf Willow Haven, and 4 Cultivate. That is the ramp package. I have now for my planeswalkers, right? So there are 16 total planeswalkers in the deck. There are 4 Kasmina, and I picked all the planeswalkers based on how they interact with Kasmina. And I'm really focusing on her ability, where each other planeswalker you control has the loyalty abilities of Kasmina, Enigma Sage, which is +2 to scry 1, -X, create an 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, put X +1/+1 counters on it, or -8, search your library for any instant or sorcery that shares a color with this planeswalker, exile it, shuffle, cast that card without paying its mana cost. And we'll get to the tricks that she offers here in a second as I go over each planeswalker. So the first planeswalker, also at 3-drop, is Jakemuir Mage. Considered by many people to be hot garbage, I've turned him into just garbage, like a half full garbage, maybe. The nice thing is that if I kick him and instead of scrying 2, using Kasmina to scry, or using Jace to scry, I can get his loyalty up and use him to draw a lot of cards, or I can minus him and make fractal tokens. All that's really good. It also gives him a really good ultimate at -8. So if I do scry really up with Jace and he gets to -8, or he gets to 8 loyalty, I can scry him down. Get him down real quick, and cast those big sorceries we'll talk about in a second. At 4-drop, I have 4 Teferi Master of Time. This is like Kasmina's bestie. Like, her and Teferi really get along. Ridiculously so. You can activate his planeswalker abilities at instant speed. So on your turn and the opponent's turn, instead of getting 2 loyalty each full turn, right, for using the draw card, using his +1, you can use his +2, which will put him at 11 loyalty super fast, allowing you to take those extra turns. Or at instant speed, and what your opponents almost never do, as an instant speed, instead of phasing a creature out, you can just minus them at instant speed to make a fractal token and just block. Right? Like make a 4/4. Right? And he still has a loyalty left. Or 5/5 even sometimes. So he's great. He's been very good. Garrick Unleashed at 4. This guy makes the Goose actually a viable, like, offensive threat. It makes all of our creatures slightly better. It makes all of our creature tokens slightly better. He makes a blocker. And he also can benefit from getting his loyalty very high through, if you just need a creature with some counters on it, a fractal creature, you can minus them and get a fractal creature. Only it's usually better to not use that ability. Also, people are very scared of Garrick and they'll just hit him. A lot of people just attack him. Another planeswalker I only had a 1 of. This should probably be a 2 of, and Garrick should go down to 3. But Vivian, Monsters Advocate. Who cares about her static ability? Her main ability is that she can plus to make tokens every single turn. And that can be very, very good. and she can run away with the game. Once again, there's, she's there to make bodies, mostly, right? And then up here at the high end, there's one Ugin, because I had one Ugin, and he's ridiculous. Now, there's other friends. Kasmina has other friends in this deck, not just her super friends. She has 2 Vorinclex. This guy is bonkers, right? All the fractals any of your planeswalkers can make come in twice as big, which is ridiculous. All the planeswalkers you cast come in with twice as many counters, and if Kasmina's out, they get +4 every time they use her ability. Also ridiculous. He's a 6/6 trample haste for 6, which just by itself is ridiculous. It shuts down your opponents from getting counters. Ridiculous. This guy's just all around bonkers. He should probably be a 3 of, but I only have 2 of them. I have a Coma in here. Coma the Cosmo Serpent is another win con. Usually, if you resolve him, since it can't be countered, your opponent loses if you resolve him. It's great to go get this guy with Garrick, if you ultimate Garrick. That allows you to go drop a Vorinclex or a Coma on your end step. So that can be very powerful. And then also up here is Aileron's Epiphany. Remember, Kasmina's -8 can go fetch Aileron's Epiphany out of your deck and cast it for free, taking an extra turn. More importantly, for if you get Teferi or one of these Jaces up to 8, your opponent will often leave them alone and not realize that you can cast a Kasmina late, and then all of a sudden Jace goes and gets Aileron's Epiphany and cast it for free, and you're taking extra turns, which is very cool. Very also always good to take extra turns. We got 4 Brazen Borrower to kind of slow things down. It's an offensive threat at a 3/1, right? It works well with Garrick, who can turn it into a 6/4 flying trample. It can bounce a guy, which is relevant. I don't know why you would need to -8 this thing to use it, but I guess you could. And then we got, to be cute, I got 1 Lithoform Engine in here, right? It allows you to copy Planeswalker abilities. It allows you to copy the bounce on Brazen Borrower. You're not really copying permanents you control. I guess you could copy Wolf Willow Haven. You could copy Goose. You could copy Brazen Borrower as he comes in. You could, but that's not really what you're doing with this card. Mostly you're using it to copy abilities. For example, let's say I go to activate Teferi, take 2 extra turns. How about I take 4 extra turns? Lithoform Engine can get really ridiculous. It's a cute one of. In all honesty, if you had another Vorinclex, you might think about dropping Lithoform Engine for Vorinclex, but when Lithoform Engine works, it is sweet. Over here in the land department, we got 1 Castle Vantress, 8 islands, 8 forests. I only have 1 Bark Channel pathway, but if you have more, you should take out this Temple of Mystery and these Thornwood Falls and get those in there. And then I had 2 Vine Glimmer Snarl. This actually works pretty well in this deck since I'm running 16 basics. Then it usually is relevant, and if it's not relevant, I can discard it with Teferi Master of Time. So this, like I said, this deck has a ton of combo potential. Kasmina, like I said, I built this deck around everything that works, or that I think works well with Kasmina. And that's kind of the point of the deck, is to get Kasmina to really work. And I think this deck does that. I think this is where you want to be with it, or something very close to this. I did think about going white, maybe throw in some Elspeth, the one that only has minuses, because then Kasmina gives her a plus ability. But it just wasn't working with the white. It was just too much other mana. So this is kind of the version I settled on. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the deck. Just leave some comments down below. And if you're digging the comment, thumbs up, sub, all the yibber yabber. I appreciate it. Does it, makes me feel good on the inside. Anyway, this is OGG out.